Hi Aquarius, welcome to your extended. Okay, so here we go. First card out, Page of Cups. Oh, they're gonna try. Oh, they're gonna try. Of course they're gonna try. You always knew that. What are you going to do when your instincts are saying, don't be stupid? It's going to be miserable and you know it. It will be crumbs and you know it. Then what? Sure, you can entertain it. You can sit back and watch. Let it unfold. Do you think it will be different this time? Do you think that it was about you not trying hard enough or something like that? Because if that's what you think, you will go into the high priestess mode and you will wait and you will wait, and then the same thing will happen again, and then you'll have even more of a reason to blame yourself once again. Fantastic. Is that what we want? Because you can take the Scorpio full moon that way if you like, but it's the easy way out. That's a much harder way. Just seems like an easy way out. Or are we going to be our authentic selves? Are we enough? Do we need that extra cup, which we end up getting anyway? But how do we get it? Where do we need to be energetically to feel and attract this? Well, first of all, be yourself. Yourself doesn't want to settle for anything, right? Okay. Yeah, but myself is always overthinking and no, that's a learned behavior. Be yourself. What does that mean? It means that you are content as you are, where you are, without anyone or anything, right? Being content where you are, as you are, isn't about getting through your days. It isn't about pretending to be happy. It isn't about convincing yourself that you don't need anyone. It's simply being happy with yourself. It's not that you don't need people. Everybody needs people. It's not that you don't want more. Everybody wants more. It's about being blissful just because you're you. That is a natural state for Aquarians. So now I ask you, how far are you from that natural state? The quicker you get to that Nine of Cups spot, the easier it'll be for you to levitate off that cliff. And once you do, oh, there is so much abundance. Really, it's almost ridiculous. So much abundance. So much. So, what do you want to do with it? Because if you look at it, this is why I like showing you the cards. If you look at it from this point of view, there's not much of a choice here to be made, is there? It seems pretty obvious that no matter how you felt or what you've been through, as long as you're okay with your own company, beautiful things start to happen. If those beautiful things have involved a Virgo in the past and now you're learning to live without, that's okay. There's no saying that this person won't come back. But I think more this is the Hermit energy for you. I think once you get into the Nine of Cups space, the Hermit energy is a natural. It's a natural succession. You levitate off the cliff, amazing things start to happen, and Aquarius goes more and more internal. It's almost like you figure out how fun it is, and then you go full force into it. If you're dealing with a Libra, it's kind of a different story because they're being quite aggressive, and you may have some pretty aggressive words for them as well, including how could you do this to me and how could you waste so much of my time? That's actually a conversation that you feel like having with a lot of people, especially if there's legality involved here, contracts and such. But even with the fire sign up there, you really do feel like asking quite a lot of people, why did you waste so much of my time? For some of you, about 3 years. And you know, the funny thing is, the answer you're going to get isn't going to satisfy you, but it will give you some insight into how they were wasting their own time long before you met them. That's just what they do, is what you'll realize by the end of May. It was never just about wasting your time. They've been wasting their own time for a while. So, okay. They wasted some of your time as well. Okay, all right. That's fine. That doesn't change what's meant for you, and it doesn't change who you are. Just like they are that, you are something else. And you deserve so much more. And so here it is. This is a fiery stability. This is dynamic. It moves, it grows, it progresses, it multiplies. It's all the things that you're missing. And it's coming towards you as soon as you get unstuck. Now, part of how you get unstuck is you forgive. I'm not saying be nice. I'm saying you forgive for selfish reasons. I'm saying don't be nice at all. But let it go because it's the best for you. Stand in your power, claim it, and let's move forward. Now, when you decide to do this, of course, you will get some major pushback. No one is happy with you leaving all these cups behind. No one is happy with the idea of someone who has worked so hard on the relationship to finally just say, no. I'm not doing it anymore. I mean, it's so out of character for you to care about yourself more than others. But by the time you get to Gemini season, you can't even remember why you were doing it in the first place. You're like, what? How was I ever putting somebody or anybody or anything before me? That's wild. What was going on with me? Gemini season is going to teach you, reteach you. You will relearn how to put yourself first. And trust me, people will not be happy about it. Why do you think so many people hate Geminis? Least of all, someone who was dragging their feet and was never good enough for you. Oh, that person's going to have the most issues with this. And what will you do? Especially if it's a Leo. What will you do if it's a Leo who took and took and took and took and took? What will you do? Well, you'll do what is in your fixed nature to do, which is dig your heels in and say, no, you weren't good enough for me. I am not dealing with this anymore because I'm too good for this. And I can shake this skin off. I can shed it and come out new, and that's what I'm going to do, and you can't stop me. Or more accurately, I'm not going to let you stop me. Not anymore. It's enough. The death of a relationship. Now, will it be sad? Of course. Of course you're going to be sad. Of course it's painful. Will they be sad? Of course. Of course. But that's not a reason to keep going, right? Like the analogy I gave you in the general, that's just not a reason to keep it going. There are many reasons to keep something going, but that's not one of them. They, whoever they are, whatever it is that you have to extricate yourself from now, of course there's going to be sadness on their part. Look what they're losing. And look at all these fives all together here. The Five of Wands underneath there, the Five of Swords, the Five of Cups. There's been so much loss, personal loss to you specifically surrounding this situation. And yet they're the one that's going to be sad. There's a lot of nerve. As a Gemini, I can't help but sometimes get really annoyed by the way people treat you and the way you allow them to treat you. Like, bro, if you don't kick this person in the face, like, but I get it. You believe in equity, you believe in value, you believe in the investment you make. Let's not forget, in relationships, you are very much Leos. You believe in the investments you make in people. And it can be really, really, really hard for you when that doesn't work. But again, that is not a reason to stay, because how much work you put into something is never directly proportional to how much you get back. You know that. You know that in every other aspect. You're very smart, but I don't know why you keep thinking that when it comes to relationships, that works. It doesn't. Not at all. It's not like someone can not give you what you need, but if you give them more than they need, they will somehow wake up and start giving it to you. That's not how that works. You have Jupiter going retrograde in Capricorn. You also have Saturn going retrograde in your sign. So Saturn wants to go over some lessons, and Jupiter's along for that ride, deep in your subconscious. So what are the lessons? They have to do with your capability and how quickly you lose sight when someone is around of what you have, your tools, and how to use them, and how lucky and special you are to have them. Saturn is going to get this message across to you however it needs to. Might be through other people. If you're dealing with a Capricorn or someone who you know is a confirmed liar at this point, even a Taurus, that earth energy, don't be surprised if they're reaching out to you all the time. Now, instead of letting it upset you, what I would like for you to do is let it feed you. Let it boost your ego. Let it make you feel good, especially if it's a fire sign coming back on their knees, but don't you dare give in. No, you take what they give you, you say thank you very much, and you move right along. There is water coming in here. There is someone who would like to offer you something new. I don't think you're ready, but if you feel like you are, go for it, take the chance. But take the chance as the new you who likes to walk off cliffs because they know they can levitate, not the old you who's worried about the person behind you who won't be able to levitate, so you don't focus on what you're doing. And if you allow this new person to come in, the communication will ramp up and up and up. This may, of course, trigger your previous hurts and pains, and so you have to be very careful not to bring that into your next thing. Being receptive as opposed to proactive will go a long way with that. You're in no rush, and you certainly don't need to chase anyone, so you just sit your ass down and wait. And what will be offered to you is, 1, an opportunity to financially really change your life. Requires quite some work, but you're up for it. to the clarity and the newness of mind that you've been looking for quite some time. An uncluttered mind, a mind not bogged down by guilt. Let me add misplaced guilt. Also bravery. The bravery to say things how they are, how you should have said them a while ago. You're tired, you're fed up, and you're ready to go. So go. And the reason you must go is because how are you going to live with yourself if you later realize that if you had just gone when you should have and done the right thing, you would have met the most incredible person? Someone who makes you feel like a little kid again. Someone who comes in all on their own. Someone who doesn't need you to hold their pieces together and doesn't need you to fill in the blanks and doesn't need you to make excuses for them. Someone who perhaps is a Cancer and in their own life isn't doing very well. That's okay. You like to help, right? The important thing is you start to, by the time we get to the end of May, you start to feel better. You start to feel a lot more powerful, a lot more compelling. You can feel the energy running through you as another a sister air sign approaches, their season approaches. Things move quickly at the end of May into, well, what you can choose is a powerful place or a very confusing place. Like I said, it depends on those earlier choices up there. If you're going to let the same bad people into your life that have hurt you so much and taken so much, it's very likely that in Gemini season you get more and more confused and thus used. Or you can heed this advice up there. You can stay away from those that you know are not good for you. You can move forward bravely and freely. And you can meet somebody who within a few months you want to get married and have kids. You want to get married and run away together. You want to, you want to have that domesticated life. And you'll know it because you'll feel like this. You'll have this overwhelming sense of peace and simultaneously great abundance. Like, yeah, I knew everything was going to be okay. The trick is, don't do this at all. No more, no more. No more thinking about the past, no more worrying about the past, no more bringing it up, no more beating yourself up with it, no more guilt tripping yourself with it. Just let it go. Because there is so much more there that you really don't want to know, and I hope you never find out because it's disgusting and terrible and it shouldn't have happened to you. And what in the hell was this person, this institution thinking when they did those things to you? You don't want to feel horrible after the fact because now you know. You've already done what you needed. You're not in that person's life. They're not in your life. But if you open this can of worms, you'll realize that you've got to go through emotions that you would have had years ago, but only because you're finding out now. And it will make you feel terrible. And we don't want that. And we don't need that. Instead, balancing the heart and the mind, remembering the divine, being humble and grateful for the protection of angels. If you're dealing with the Sagittarius and you think they're being self-involved, join the club. If you're dealing with an Aries and you feel like they're being self-involved, join the club. But the interesting thing here is that the cards want you to look outward and bolster yourself internally at once, making you quite successful everywhere. Making you quite successful for a long time to come. Inshallah, inshallah. See, you could have walked down this very long road with this Leo, but this Leo's vices are not like normal people's vices. They involve a kind of sadism where they like hurting you. Oh, they would never admit to it, and you probably never admitted it to yourself. Sorry. But you know it's true. No, instead here we're looking at an earth sign coming in who's quite a catch. Has all the things that you would like, and all they would like is to resonate with someone who is on their level, knows that they're on their level, and can hang with them. Can you do that? I think you can. And if you can do that, things move very quickly. Very quickly. In a direction you probably didn't expect. Now, when things start to move very quickly in June, just remember that the fuckboy energy will come back. They will want another shot, and that's when you say, no, I'm really for reals, really real reals, moving away from this and you. No more. That will shatter them, and that's fine. It's not your responsibility. One more time, it's not your responsibility. So no need to overthink, no need to second guess your decision, no need to go back and forth. They want to be sad because they can't stop holding on to what it was, what they did. Well, they should have thought about that when they had you, but they didn't. So too bad. And they can stay here as long as they like. It's really not your problem. All right, Aquarius. That was your extended. I love you. Love, love, love you. I'll see you next month.